At the age of 29, Helena lived as she pleased. Since she was little, her parents had a lot of money and spoiled their daughter with the best of everything. Unfortunately, when she was only 10 years old, her mother passed away, and with that, her father, Hector, did everything he could to ensure that Helena never needed anything and always lived the best possible life. Hector was always a businessman, and after graduating, he directed all his efforts towards creating a multi-million-dollar company, which he succeeded in doing. He was able to make a lot of money, and could have retired at the age of 25 if he wanted to. Later on, while continuing to increase profits, he left his daughter in the care of the employees who lived with them in their home while he worked. However, the girl had no interest in the family business, and, as she grew up, the only thing she was interested in was having fun and spending her father's money. Hector tried to talk to his daughter about her financial recklessness, but she was already too old to be taught and acted like a spoiled child, making it very difficult for her father to control her. The young woman could spend the equivalent of a doctor or YouTuber's salary in a store, and to make matters worse, she did not care about spending her father's money. On a Saturday, Helena was getting ready to go out with her friends to celebrate. Her father knocked on her door and told her that she could spend a maximum of $3,000 on her card and that this was her last chance to show that she had matured and was aware of her spending. Helena accepted, and when her father left, she laughed because she knew she would spend $3,000 in the first few minutes of that day. In the morning, Hector was in the kitchen when he received a notification of a charge of over $50,000 on his daughter's card at Louis Vuitton the previous day. He almost spat out the coffee he was drinking and got up, certain that this would be the last time his daughter would take advantage of his goodwill. He went to his daughter's room and saw that she was sleeping peacefully in her bed as if nothing had happened, clearly not caring about the situation at all. On that same day, Hector was thinking about how he could deal with the girl's behavior, as it seemed that what he had taught her throughout her life had not worked. Before going to sleep, he thought a lot and made the only decision he considered appropriate in that situation, which would drastically change his daughter's life to see if she would improve. The next day, the girl slept in late, as she always did. But she woke up to a phone call from her father. Helena answered irritably, and then her father told her that he was going on a long business trip and didn't know when he would return. He also said that he had canceled all of his daughter's cards and rented a house for her in a remote location 7 hours away from the city, and from then on, she would have to live there. Hector warned that the driver would pick her up the next day as soon as she woke up and hung up before his daughter had a chance to react. In the morning, the driver arrived, and the girl thought her father was joking and that it was just a threat, but as soon as the car started on the road, she began to realize that everything was real. Helena, without knowing the direction her life would take at that moment, began to ask the driver questions, but he did not respond. After some time of traveling, the car finally approached the house where she would live, and the girl became frightened. It was not a well-ventilated place, it was very small, and it was quite dirty, as if it had been abandoned. The driver took the girl's bags from the trunk and quickly left, leaving her alone at the mercy of her own fate. Helena looked at the house and decided to clean it up because if she didn't, she would have to sleep with rats and cockroaches. The girl worked hard to clean the house. The truth was that she had never touched a broom or done anything resembling household chores. In the late afternoon, when she finished organizing everything, she heard a knock on her door, and it was one of her neighbors. It was a friendly elderly woman who carried a pie that looked like it had just come out of the oven. She introduced herself as Lucia, handed Helena the pie, and expressed concern about Helena being alone in that house that had not seen anyone in years. Helena invited the woman in for tea. They chatted for a bit, and the elderly woman asked if the girl needed a job since she would be staying there for a while, as they needed someone to clean their house. The girl felt embarrassed to tell the lady that she was the daughter of a millionaire and, without thinking much, accepted the job offer since her father had cut her off. Helena started working and actually felt very happy because for the first time she felt important in helping someone. One day, she was leaving the lady's house and saw a little boy with teary eyes through the window of one of the houses. Helena became concerned and decided to get closer. The girl saw that the door was open and pushed it slowly. When she entered, she saw that the little boy was alone, and as soon as she entered, the child hugged her, crying. The house seemed abandoned for days. There was food on the floors and a lot of dirt, which left Helena astonished. She asked for the boy's name, and the little boy whispered softly, "James." Helena took the boy to her house to give him something to eat and to understand what had happened. The girl then called the lady to talk while James ate, and the lady explained that the boy was the son of a woman named Jane, who had accidentally become pregnant. She also said that the woman was addicted to drugs and did not take care of her son, leaving him alone and helpless in that house for days. Helena was very sad to hear this and felt sorry for the boy's situation, who had no one to take care of him, unlike her who had always had a father who gave her everything, as well as love and attention, and yet she had treated him with ingratitude. That situation touched her deeply in a way she had never felt before. Helena realized all the mistakes she had made by acting like a spoiled, arrogant person all these years. The lady suggested that she go to the police station to find the boy's mother, and thus, Helena left the child with the elderly woman and went out. A police officer named Michael volunteered to help her search for the boy's mother, but after 2 weeks of searching, they were unable to find her, making adoption the only option for the child. Michael and Helena became friends during the search for the missing mother, and the young woman felt a warmth in her chest because she had also grown very close to the boy. It was as if she were his mother or someone important in the family. Helena had formed a very strong bond that made her want to adopt the child. Determined, she and Michael began to deal with the paperwork for the adoption process. Michael managed to obtain all the necessary documents to adopt James, and the boy also had Michael, who joined Helena and James, and in just a few months, everyone felt like they were part of a beautiful and loving united family. A few more months passed, and a luxurious car parked in front of Helena's house. Her eyes teared up when she realized it was her father. The girl opened the door with James in her arms and Michael by her side. They were all smiling as they saw Hector, who, upon seeing the scene, also couldn't hold back his tears. In that moment, the man felt that his daughter had finally matured and become an empathetic and responsible person. Unbelievable, isn't it? The world takes many turns. Often, drastic changes are necessary for us to realize the mistakes we've made and know what really matters in life. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a comment, like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more wonderful tales.